Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's The Jewels of the Qur'an, Jawahir al-Qur'an. We have reached Surah Al-Hijr. And Imam Ghazali chose 9 verses out of this surah as jewels, meaning that they stand out. We are using Muhammad Abul Qasim's translation, and we are on page 109. So 9 verses from the surah of the rocky track, Al-Hijr. We have spread out the earth, set in it firm mountains, والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي. The word, let's basically talk about the anchor. So when a ship anchors, it depends on the size of the ship. If it's a small boat, it has a smaller anchor. It's basically the large ships, they have massive anchors. The chain itself weighs so much, and releasing the anchor it's a very dangerous thing, because one wouldn't want to be caught in this in the chain that goes down very fast, very heavy. Why I'm mentioning the anchor? Because it's called mirsa, from the same root of rawasi. And here it is translated as firm mountains. No, in fact, it's the mountains. The mountains are anchors. Rawasi, they anchor. So they in as much as the anchor is a source of stability for the ship, these mountains are anchors for these continents, for the tectonic plates, for the earth. SubhanAllah. So I have spread out the earth, set in it anchoring mountains rather than firm, and caused every appropriate article to grow therein. We have provided means of livelihood for you, and caused every appropriate article to grow therein. Appropriate, okay, definitely everything is appropriate. Mawzoon, that there is a balance. Remember, when we talk about nature, one does not want to allow pollution or human activity to cause an imbalance in nature. We talk about sustainability, because there is wazn, weight, there is wazn in poetry, for example. In English you'd say for the iambic meter, there's a meter. In Arabic there are meters, and you talk about a balanced position, tawazun, etc. So everything in the on earth is that has been created, um, growing therein in a balance state. If there's an imbalance, if we disturb nature, it's us human beings, the very concern the angels raised about the human being causing corruption, of course, shedding blood, that also causing corruption. ما يفسد فيها. This ifsad, this corruption, could be on the level of politics, could be on the level of economics, could be on the level of the social order, etc. And also the environment, with implications that we are already witnessing: rising oceans, melting, the the North Pole, the South Pole, they are melting at an alarming rate, at any rate. وجعلنا لكم فيها معايش وما لستم له برازقين. We have provided means of livelihood for you and for such of our creation as you are not able to provide for. Of course not. We cannot provide for ourselves. We act, we strive, if it were not for that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in the first place, it would be impossible. We can take care of ourselves, maybe taking care of some animals. Either we do it because of necessity, such as cattle. We buy the feed for the cattle because we have direct invested interest, or simply because we give to pets, and of course we don't expect these pets to. There's no benefit like cattle, except that these pets, they provide some comfort, elderly, especially nowadays in the disintegration of the family. So the pet be replaced, at least some members. They don't have children, they don't want to have children. And sometimes there is no family in the first place, and sometimes it's an elderly person who has no relatives. So the animals provide some comfort, but we don't, and we cannot provide for. There is not a thing, but we have unbounded stores of it, but only send it down in a regulated measure. We send winds carrying moisture, then we send down water from the sky. With it we provide you with drink. You could not have stored it up for yourselves. وأرسلنا الرياح لواقح فأنزلنا من السماء ماء فأسقيناكموه وما أنتم له بخازنين. Okay. We cannot store the rain. We might have some reservoirs, but even then there is evaporation. In our bodies we cannot store. Human beings, we cannot store. Camels can store. We cannot store water in our bodies. There's certain percentage of water, and all excess would leave the body, whether it's urination or sweating, etc. But the first part about the winds carrying moisture. Okay, I mean the winds for the most part they carry moisture. But the idea in Arabic, it's lawaqih, liqah. If you talk about plants, the lawaqih, we talk about pollination. That's amongst plants. For animals, we talk about insemination. ألقح الناقة, for example, the she camel. The wind being lawaqih, because it has to be related to the rain, and immediately it's fa. I mean, it's not wa. And the translation here we have the order. The order is and. We send winds carrying moisture. Then okay. We send down water. Then okay. The wind, if it is stable, it could cause the clouds to rain, rain formation, and then of course causing the clouds to form and then to rain. Just think about the if this does not happen naturally, countries that can afford it and they need it, they use silver iodide, or they use dry ice, which is solid CO2, which does not become liquid. It's just simply from solid to gas, in brackets, to impregnate the clouds. They spread them over the clouds, and then there is rain. And the silver iodide is not harmful. In fact, you can find it in nature in smaller quantities. It's not harmful to human beings, not harmful to animals. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alam. So this is the lawaqih is it's the role of the winds in this case. And I did mention in a different session before that whenever we have two major words with the same root, we have riyah and we have rih in the Qur'an. It's the same thing. We talk about wind, except that when the Qur'an uses rih, it is usually it causes damage. It causes it's a punishment, a general punishment. It's fierce wind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had used really as a form of general punishment. But whenever a riyah in general, or basically in general, when a riyah is used, it's positive, like in this context right here. And it's very appropriate now to mention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives life and causes death. Truly, it is we who give life and we who cause death. Because that which came before, creating the appropriate space for the human being to live on earth, and then the means for livelihood. So it is really in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is we. True, it is we who give life and we who cause death. And it is we who are the sole inheritors of all. وَنَحْنُ الْوَارِثُونَ. We don't really own anything. We don't literally own anything in the absolute sense. That which came to our hands will pass. We will pass on to our hands, to different hands, of course. One of us would see things as extension of himself, the house, the car, and then it is used by other people. It is, quote unquote, it is owned by other people until the day of judgment, and then it becomes very clear that nobody owned anything really. It changes hands, as we say. We do culturally many buildings here in the Arab world. They write on top of the main door of the building. Usually they write Al-Mulku Lillah, property belongs to God, as if it is used to against envy, against the evil eye, against. It is true that it belongs to God. Whether you write that whether you write Al-Mulku Lillah or not, it does belong to God and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As it says here, وَنَحْنُ الْوَارِثُونَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know well those of you who go ahead, and we know well those of you who lag behind. It is your Lord who will gather them all together. He is all wise, all knowing. Those who came before us, those who will come later on, and at any moment someone is reading this, he or she, of course, will be the in-between. Soon he will be joining those who have already passed. It is your Lord who will gather them all together. He is all wise, all knowing, omniscient. Indeed, we created man from dry, ringing clay, which was roughed from black mud. Hama masnoon. Masnoon, it could be like, it has the same root, probably, like asin. At any rate, and the jinn we had created before from the fire of a glowing blast. والجان خلقناه من قبل من نار السموم. This is really the reason why, this is what Satan said after he rejected the divine commandment to prostrate before Adam. He cited why. He said, I'm better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay, from mud, really. قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. And that's really first, the first racist, the first conflict between two creatures. Satan was still racist, and he just simply declared an all-out war on the human being. For he pledged before God, for Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, that he will be on the like waiting for the human being. He will be there on every path, trying to tempt the human being with the aim. The aim is not simply to commit a sin, no matter how small or how grave the mortal the sin is. The aim of Satan is ultimately to cause the human being to become an unbeliever. That's the aim. And the animosity with Satan is absolute. There's no way to reconcile or to have a break. كمثل الشيطان إذ قال الإنسان اكفر فلما كفر قال إني بريء منك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. It's just simply like like Satan when he asked the human being to declare his disbelief in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, to renounce religion, to renounce Tawheed, and when he succumbs to Satan's temptation, then Satan abandons the human being, and he says that he fears God, which is also very problematic, an oxymoron practically. For if he had feared God, had he been God conscientious, he would not have done all this to humanity. These are the 9 verses of that Imam Ghazali has chosen from Surah Al-Hijr. The next is Surah Al-Nahl. The bees, really, and Nahl. And Imam Ghazali chose 49 verses. Inshallah, we will do this attempt to read them in the next session بإذن الله. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.